Hello everyone, Fans of Fire here again. And, welcome to another tournament match. This time, it, I'm spectating a match between Mr. Green playing as the Hunters and Randiv playing as Dracula. And with me in the commentary booth is Skybreaker96. Welcome, Sky.
Yeah, greetings, peeps.
Yep. So, we'll see. Both of these players, so far as I know, I believe both of them ended the last round among the band of 6 people with 6-6. So, they should be relatively evenly matched. Although I think there was one other game, I think there was a reverse matchup between them already. I don't know for sure. But I do recall that one of them, I think, has already had a game, or possibly that was simply the last game of the previous round. I don't know. Don't know off the top of my head.
Oh, there he is. I experienced a rather weird visual bug there for a second. I couldn't see where Van Helsing was.
Yeah, that's what happens when you come in mid like that.
So the superhero setup, as I'm to understand it, as it's being colloquially known.
Yep. Randiv, Randiv during the Immortal Invitational, Randiv was the hunter of our team. So and in truth, I haven't been following Randiv all that closely, but there's just been so many games blurring together that I don't remember all that much.
Yeah, some games they do tend to bleed together in the mind, don't they?
Yeah.
It's just there's just so much Dracula goodness that you can only cram into your brain meat for it just, and they don't sit very easily on the top of your thought processes. It's all like, all right, that game's done, got to go to the next one, and you just got to keep just trudging forwards.
Yeah, and we're talking that way because we just came out of a match that was the two of us. For those who
For
don't
sure.
know, the match even though we started at around like 1 or so, the game took over 2 hours for us to complete. I won't spoil the results, but you can check it out on my channel. Sadly, we didn't have a neutral first commentator, but in any event, anyone who's watching, Sky has said that he may not be able to stay through the whole game, but
I'll give you an hour. Yeah,
but
I mean the only reason being, of course, is that I've got young kids. They have to come home from school, and I've got adulting air quotes to do when they get home. So yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah. So if anyone in the chat would like to join us, we would welcome at least one more.
Yeah.
By the way, Sky, since I have only one device, I can't keep track of chat. So would you open up the thing, the stream, and keep track of chat for me?
Yeah, sure. I'll just mosey on over to there.
Yeah, no need to close as this, but nonetheless, but just take a peek at it every now and then. So yeah, typical week 1 supply train. So far, nothing happening. Huh? This is a bit odd. It's showing everyone. It's not revealing me as items. Strange. It's not revealing me as cards. Huh. Are we... Is this frozen for you or something? Why is Gulong taking so long? I think I may be frozen. Sorry for this chat, but I think I'm going to have to quit and try to re-enter. I don't know what that's about. Okay. So, and what are you seeing right now, Sky, from your perspective, of the game?
Well,
It's just frozen.
good question. I tried to do too much at once. I'll get back into the game and spectate it from there.
It.
Please stand by. We're experiencing technical difficulties.
Yeah, I seem to have it fixed. It's kind of going like fast forward since we seen. I think at least I was frozen for a while for some reason or another. But in any event, to me, his first cards were a chart. I think I saw it was chart carriage plus dogs. Okay, yeah, not bad for. I mean, dogs is a good thing for revealing, and chart carriage is. I mean, it's not the worst thing to show. There are far worse things.
Yeah, for sure. Oh. This is definitely not how I imagined this process would go.
Sometimes these things happen. A bit odd to be sure. So, dogs for discard. I see that MG did the typical, the thing that's at least typical for me when I'm playing Hunters, where trade with cooldown night one. So, you back in, Sky? Sky, I'm not hearing you all of a sudden. Don't know why. Sorry folks, let's see if I can figure this out. Sky? Huh. Discord seems to be a bit frozen as well. Okay. Were you not hearing me for a bit there, Sky?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Well, at least the chat will have heard what I was saying. But in any event, you seeing things properly now, Sky, in the in-game?
Well, for now.
Yeah. A bit odd, quite possibly because we are just in-game and such. Like jumping from one game to another. Okay, discard the dogs, revealing a holy circle now. Personally, I think I would have kept the dogs. Dogs on me is not bad at all. I would have just discarded holy circle. Personally. I mean, I can't say exactly what he has. Perhaps he has another dogs. If that's the case, yeah, of course. dogs is similar in to being revealed as dogs is. Uh, or did I double say dogs? Well, in any event, Holy Circle is much the same concept of like showing it as dogs is.
Yeah. You'll have to pardon me. I could not, since I'm running this Fury of Dracula app off of my cell phone. I can't juggle Discord, YouTube, and the physical game at the same time. It just my phone throws up on me, and then it doesn't it arbitrarily picks which audio feed that you're going to be listening to. But yeah, so no, I'm observing the actual match as a spectator, so I can't see any of the
chat. Okay.
Any of the chat, but I did say hello to Andrazat while I was there. At least I tried to. And if you didn't hear it, Andrazat, hi, how you doing, man?
I am Andrazat. If you want to join us for commentary, feel free. As I said.
Yeah, one of the questions I was going to pose to you, and I don't know if you heard it or not, is that when you have this particular setup by hunters, where do you think is the more favorable location to start for Dracula? Would you rather start on the far east side of Baltica and try to lure Seward and Godalming into some traps and then hopefully get them stuck there so that you can go down the out of Austria-Hungary, or do you just bury yourself deep in Italy?
Well, that depends on your hand, and it could be neither because, as you know, I just in general prefer central starts.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it depends on your hand. I mean, with this setup, with Mina being the one in Spain, England is with the superhero. England is more favorable than it would be otherwise. And really only slightly, but it does take Seward a little bit longer to get there. And from quite possibly the opposite end from where you want him to approach, you know.
Well, it looks like they've managed to rummage the deck of item cards, and all the dogs are in the discard pile currently.
Yeah, indeed. As is all the garlic.
See, I don't know why garlic necessarily gets a bad rap. I mean, I prefer it over a crucifix, to be honest with you, because you play the crucifix the wrong way once and you get wrecked.
Yeah, it's mostly because it has no offense. It is little offensive capability, mm-hmm. and crucifix is judged slightly better by consensus. Because while it has no proactive offensive, neither of them have any proactive offensive. But in a fight with a reckless vampire, especially in an ambush, what's likely to happen? Answer: Fang and Mez. So yeah. Therefore, since garlic gets simply Mez or and sometimes plotted because they're expecting a dodge instead. I mean, crucifix does that too, but it gets plotted too. But basically, since it gets mezzed, it's judged. I think, in truth, the truth of it is, in the early game, I think crucifix is better, but garlic, I think later on, once the early gambits are over and you're going for Drac himself, I think garlic is just better if you're for when you are if you're forced to be content with only two or if you're forced to do a desperate 1v1, if you're batted into something for a night fight. It's just that's when garlic I think is better, as it has slightly better defensive capabilities. Hide it not. I'm not all that surprised with that. It's not all that unusual for Western France to be attractive, while Mina's the one in Spain.
Yeah.
So So I can't say I'm all that surprised by that.
Interesting. Well, she's showing a chartered carriage in a holy circle right now. Maybe she's equipped to just get onto locations where vampires might be, and then just GTFO if they ambush her. And maybe she's got the stake. Well, I guess only time will tell, right?
Yeah. Maybe, if perhaps.
Yeah.
That's all we can really say until we see it.
With the right rail ticket, she can rail up to France or to where is it?
Bordeaux.
Yeah, to Bordeaux, and then just
Bordeaux
walk in the next day.
Bordeaux or Paris. Okay, this is actually very nice. This means that he can check so he went to Le Havre after, and he did not go to Paris. So that means that that was definitely very nice, as now that he knows it's safe to train up, and won't get just batted away or something like that.
Yeah. Oh, Seward, you're ready for battle.
Well, I would imagine so at this point, being with Koldaming.
Mm-hmm.
After all, that's 6 days worth of supplying that he's done. Well, this is day 6, so actually 5 days, but close enough. I might have checked Marseille. Well, I suppose no, if he didn't go Bordeaux or Paris. I mean, there is Clermont-Ferrand, as a possibility.
Yeah, when you're tripsing around France, you want to stay off the railroads as much as you can, and force the hunters to come and get you in small cities. So
yeah, that's why I typically go with. That's why for my central stars, I typically go with either northern Italy or Germany, or as was the case in our match, mid Italy, as it turned out to be.
Yeah. I've never liked the Italian start. I've never liked it.
Yeah, I'm no fan of the put something at Barrier Naples thing, but basically, I'll do what I did versus you if I am going to start down there in that area. So, yeah, since he could have gone to Marseille, I think I might have moved Seward there. There instead of Geneva.
Yeah, he could have finished his chartered carriage move there, could he not? Yeah, he could have gone from 37 to 36.
Yeah, he went with Geneva, and I get it because it's a one road further north, and I would assume that he does have a horse. So therefore, and the fact that he's going with a place that's not connected by rail only reinforces that thought. So, yeah, I can see the reasoning behind it, but I don't fully agree.
Now the question is, do you think that this is an aristocratic vampire hiding in Nantes?
Really, it could be any vampire for opener. But if I am going to start with a vampire, I will typically start with either reckless or aristocratic. To make it a full 7-pointer.
Yep. Personally, I don't mind it if my aristocratic vampires eat the steak, to be honest with you, because
you said that you watched the end of my match versus Strider. If you had watched sooner, if you had watched the whole thing, you would have seen that I was dotting aristocrats all around to eat the early steaks.
Yeah.
it's just a nice thing. It's just nice to be able to use them that way. Hoaxes too.
Yep.
If you get
One of these, I'll resolve a hoax successfully. Just one of these days, it's gonna happen, and I'm gonna do like a whole bunch of alarm arms on something like yeah.
I am yet to succeed in doing that this tournament, but I have done it before in tournament games. Fog, forewarned. I mean that's the yep ding.
Yeah. There you go.
Well, I mean that. However, that does mean that he will not have that later. So
It'll be interesting.
Oh,
it'll be interesting to see
it
how
was
he
indeed
manages.
Clone from Rand. I think that Seward will have a stake. Also because of it being with Gulaming, you know. And worth mentioning that that he appears to have at least the base ticket economy down. Which poor Strider. I in a way I hated that game despite the win. Against him. He just had a visit from Mina the Horse Killer.
Yeah.
Twice. Out of a
Yep.
one of 8, one of 9.
It was an aristocratic vampire, so
Could have
that
saved.
tracks.
Could have saved the stake in the end, but I mean he didn't ambush, so of course it's gonna. And yeah, in truth, I might have tried searching without the stake, because after the fog got forewarned, of course he's gonna ambush. Well, then again, you don't get to choose after the forewarn is shown, so
No.
yeah, this is a good start for Mr. Green.
He's getting on that trail, and he's kind of flushing Randiv in a particular direction.
Yeah.
Now the question
However,
is,
here's what. Oh, go ahead.
yeah, oh no, I was like speculating. Does he risk going north, or should he just run deep into Italy and then kind of hop over the Adriatic and land in Valona?
Yeah. If he had been at La Havre, I would have said there is definitely some risk from. I mean, because what if he had been at La Havre, there would definitely be the risk that might have been correct to leave Van Helsing there for a while, because for all you know, he could go to Amsterdam, and then since it's nice and early, Wolf form to Manchester, and having a full powered CG this early is difficult.
Yeah.
I mean, it's possible, it's happened, but
Well, you got to think about the statistical probability of it. It's pretty high. Like, in order to get the right circumstances to have a nuke-worthy consecrated ground this early in the game, everything would have to go exactly right. I mean, honestly, like you're looking at a hunter card in a deck of 60 cards. So
75.
that's already math. Well, yeah, 75 cards. My bad. That's already like pretty bad odds against you.
That is.
And then the fact that you have to dredge the 3 heavenly hosts out of the supply deck and get them onto the hunters that don't have the consecrated ground card.
Okay, slow roll. So he's not yet perfected his economy, but well, I suspect that Van Helsing may have something to trade anyway.
Yeah,
and it's possible.
Perfected.
It's also possible.
Perfected for.
Well, it's also possible that Seward is holding another horse and can give it to Mina. Okay, Toulouse. I would check Toulouse. Ambushing. Okay. Why not wait for him to search it? There are no dogs, so you're not going to get punished that way.
Yeah, that's a good point. It makes me wonder, like whenever I'm playing as Dracula, I am taking copious notes. I'm I'm dumpster diving regularly to make sure that the items that are there are still there. And then when I have knowledge, oh, well, all the dogs are in the discard pile. I don't have to worry about, my spies or saboteurs or whatnot being, or rats even. Not that I
I thought you.
care about rats per se, being discarded by dogs.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure why he ambushed, but I mean, that made the hunter's job easier.
Yeah.
So,
I
at this point, it's either into the boot or went to Toulouse and went down into Spain after me, like set, like as slash after me left. Because let's
yeah.
see, he would have been, he would have had to been at Saragossa or Barcelona at the time they flipped the newspaper. Or no. No, he would have already had to make the move to Toulouse. So he would have been committing to moving towards Mina, who, I mean, and she was admittedly on, on the surface, the best position to get to Nantes, and therefore would likely move, so, and would do so by rail more likely than not. So I could see it, but I honestly don't like an early Spain, myself. It's much more plausible in my opinion that he's just heading down the boot to head to Bari to ferry Adriatic. That's definitely a far more sound long-term plan. Uh,
Yeah, and to me that would be the preferable option because now all the hunters are are central to the map, and you only have to risk 1 day of sea travel to just hop over the Adriatic, and you wolf form into the east, and you can already start laying traps down for the hunters and do a wolf form into Sofia, and then start kind of invading Austria-Hungary and leave little presents for the hunters to kind of run into.
yeah.
And then kind of cycle back, go around the back side of the castle to Galatz, and then go down the shoreline. And if you have to go to the Black Sea, go to the Black Sea. But if you can get away with it, go down to Salonika and
Good Ionian.
Yeah, and then by that time you can skip town, so to speak.
Yeah, I agree with most of that, except for going up around to the castle. I would evade that if possible. It may not be. It's possible that you may just be forced to go up there, but
Yeah, and to offer maybe a bit of an insight into the headspace of all of us people who are kind of 50-50 for our games right now, is that the pressure is mounting, right?
mm-hmm.
I think Randiv ambushing with the spy might have been a mistake due to composure more than anything else. He might have thought, oh, I'll ambush with that. Oh, wait, all the dogs are in the discard pile. Why did I do that? And it's just those little mistakes you make because you're starting to feel the mounting pressure, right? You got all these other experienced players around you who are equally as good as you are, or you feel slightly better than you. And then you don't just stay calm and stick to the plan that you have for yourself, right?
Yes, that is true. Although, I imagine that you were feeling some of that as we were going through our game. Yes.
Yeah, a bit.
Yeah, let's be clear, Jad. For me to end up having to face Skybreaker again, he had to earn his way up there. Speaking of which, by the way, since Genoa has been checked, I'm not sure if anyone was ever at Milan, but if not, then it is indeed Toulouse going into Spain. I know that there was a person at Zurich. I think there was a person at Zurich or not. Or
I think Godalming was sitting on Zurich.
Yeah. My memory wasn't deceiving me then.
Yeah. Um,
Yeah, so there is Milan as one potential opening, but he was
Yeah.
sitting in Munich for a while before he came down here. So it's not directly to Munich. Yeah, he's still confined to southern Italy if he's in there. But I think, but at this point, it's just more likely. It, I guess the fact that he hasn't been doing any wolf forming or anything like that does make it hard to say. I will admit,
yeah.
but it, but I think that there likely would have been, if he had gone to Milan, I think he likely would have wolf formed after that, like slip into the east, go up northern Germany.
Well,
Well,
hmm. Well, there. I guess it'll depend on what the hunters decide to do when it comes to checking locations. But he could have gone to Venice from Milan if he went to Milan at all.
yes.
And then when Godalming moved away from Munich, he could have just went up to Munich. And now he can wipe his brow.
Not with no hide card. No.
No,
Godalming was there
no.
long enough, and there was a wax cylinder check just now. So.
But that's only because the hide card just slid off the trail, right? I think. I mean, I think it's unlikely that he went to Milan, to Venice, to there you go.
No,
Because then
yeah.
those would have had to have been lined up perfectly, like absolutely.
Yeah.
The timing would have had to have been perfect. So yeah, now that we've seen Toulouse on the trail, he's slumming around Spain.
Yeah, and well, honestly, I actually might get behind him going to Milan than Venice as a way into Italy, because with them at Vienna, what do you expect one of their first moves as soon as they reveal your trail to be?
Yeah.
Answer rail down to Genoa. Simply because that's one of the few cases where rail is at least just as fast as horse, if not better. In this particular case, of course, he did chart our carriage over it. So yeah, I can't say I like such an early Spain.
Yeah, I mean, you would have. I don't either, but I think this was sort of a lack of better options kind of scenario. I figure maybe when Mina railed away to go deal with, or in his mind, to deal with the aristocratic vampire he had in Nantes, it freed up Spain. And he must have made that decision when he was in Marseille to redirect that way. Okay.
Clever not to ambush.
Pump the brakes.
Interesting that of no ambush. I don't think there's been any stakes discard, have there? Well, apart from the ones Seward used, none have been just straight up discarded. Seward did use one of the aristocratic, but apart from that, there's none of the discard.
Yeah.
I mean, there could be more stakes in the draw pile, but
well,
evidently Godalming doesn't have one. Unless he chose simply not to show it,
it wouldn't have hurt. I personally don't think it would have hurt him in either case to search with it, because I mean, sure, okay, fine, you reveal a stake to Dracula, but on the off chance it is a vampire, then surprise, one dead vampire.
Yes, but with the no ambush, he might have convinced himself if it was one, it was an aristocratic. The no ambush is what was definitely curious. Okay. Yeah, wax and loot is just a fancy way of passing now. Well, in that time it could have. Both of the previous times it could have been a hide card.
Yeah.
But
it's a pretty shrewd move to do when you have wax cylinders on Seward, because then it keeps the Dracula player honest. Like, like if you make an impression on them, like, okay, if he has nothing better to do with his night action, he's gonna wax cylinder. So why would I want to hide? I mean, yeah, there's probably some advantages to hiding, but eventually that wax cylinders is gonna bite you at the wrong time, and then all of that work you've done trying to obfuscate where you are just evaporates, right?
it depends on the area. Here in Spain, there can be a little bit of mix up at this point now that he's been here long enough.
Yeah.
And also like if it happens in the center of the board, I mean, you know how that goes.
Oh yeah. Oh.
Especially getting things in the exact order.
It's frustrating enough that I actually go to my physical copy of the board game and I get out the Dracula postcard and I look at it. because everything's shrunk down onto a small iPhone 13 screen. Sometimes it's kind of hard to see where the roads are and where the railroads go. And then I get out this nice postcard that they give you with the physical copy of the game, so that the players don't see where you're looking on the board.
Yeah.
And I look at it and I go, okay, I can put this down in front of me, and I can put little markers like little dice and beads on it to be notations as to where I am, where they are, where I last saw this person, and then I can kind of make better deductive steps that way.
Some of the hardest parts is where and when.
Yeah.
Because I mean, our match that we just had is a first class example of how the win can definitely matter a lot. I mean, sure, you reeled me with wax cylinders twice. First to uncover the trail in the first place, and again later on, but I had done it at a time where it didn't matter. I didn't care.
Yeah. So Saragossa is 1, 2, 3 steps away.
Yeah, and then Helsing, I wonder if he thought that would be another vampire because he didn't search it after Gul'daman got into that night fight. It's quite possible that that's why he didn't search it by night. Or I think he got a railway ticket. Yeah, I mean he is operating by train so far as I've seen. So
yeah,
I can see that as a valid move. Yeah, I think Van Helsing is kind of acting as the scout here. Let the others clean it up once you've.
Okay. So this is what I think based off what I'm seeing right now. He's either sitting on 1 or 12 with a hide.
It's possible. Santander is also a possibility. I mean, if he started with Madrid after Saragossa, because Mina would have moved in time for him to be there next. Yeah, and Mr. MG recognizes the fact.
Yeah.
Yeah, with Madrid as the first, it's difficult to say. It can in truth, if it's Madrid first, it could be literally any port but Barcelona. Whoops, stepped on a layer.
Oh, see, the pressure isn't getting just the to
Oh,
Randiv.
ouch.
Oh.
Lost a knife to it.
Well, that's a win for the Dracula player. Small victories.
For sure. Okay, he has not been at Lisbon at all. Yeah, so in that case, that's almost guaranteed confirms that he was at Madrid at some point.
Mm-hmm.
It is still possible that he went simply at Alicante first, and then Granada and is hiding at Cadiz. But I agree that he is almost certainly hiding on reports.
So they're just going to let Toulouse go. I mean, it's only going to be 3 influence points.
It's only 3. It's no rumor. It's not that big a deal.
Oh, he
Oh,
didn't.
that's interesting. Poss- Possibly went Santander first and then Madrid.
You know, if there's one thing I will say about Randiv and his Dracula style, he is a meticulous route planner. Like, if he can no longer rely on the hide card anymore, then he immediately kind of thinks, okay, what's the best strategic way for me to get to the place I want to be without using this particular card? Now that it's sort of a risk to play it now, and
Yeah, in this case,
I think,
I likely, if I
yeah,
were on a port, I would have hidden, simply because yeah, flip it. You, you now know what port I'm going to leave from next turn.
now
Congrats.
here's the question: do you lair Toulouse?
I would, yes.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's not. I don't think it's worth sacrificing 3 events that the hunters have to clean up, all for like 3 influence points. Um,
Yeah,
but let's see if he thinks that it's worth maturing the vampire or not.
especially since it's a new vampire. Uh,
But considering where it's located on the board, if he lets it go to be a lair and Wolf forms back to it at some point in time, then uh, he could stack a whole bunch of nasty things on that location.
yeah, that's precisely why I'd lair it. It's not worth giving up 3. The You're getting no value out of 3 moves. So,
Yeah,
and besides, you're gonna have to leave Spain soon. In fact, I would do it this turn because an RV and you're in some of a difficult position, aren't you?
yeah. If he's got
Espe-
horses spread out properly and the right rail tickets, a renewed vigor could be a huge disaster for him.
Especially if he's at Alicante.
Yeah.
I mean, since you haven't hidden, I suppose I might hide simply for the one last thing. And he did indeed. Well, he's thinking on it. He's at least thinking of making a lair. Oh,
No,
I disagree.
that's yeah. He must not have cared about what those 3 cards were.
Quite
Like,
possible. Yeah,
maybe they
like
were
rats and
rats, or
such. But
maybe there was a
yes, but
saboteur or something.
yeah, but the thing about that is, it. The thing about that is like, I mean, by you maturing, by you layering it, you threaten that your like Saragossa could have been a hoax. What's after it could have been a hoax. Everything after it could have been a hoax.
Yeah, I agree, because forcing the hunters to waste time and resources inspecting what's still on the trail.
Even if it's junk,
Yeah,
it's
even if it is
time.
junk,
One way or another,
because
you are draining them of one resource, and that's time.
yeah,
And 3 points takes only 1 day to remedy. So if you're buying,
yeah,
if you get time to have that 1 day, a new vampire especially, an
yeah,
aristocratic or a reckless, I might understand. But
yeah. And had he had a rumor token on that, I might have agreed with the maturation of that
yes,
card. But yeah, not in this case. And it looks like he's finally took to the water. So the
yeah.
question
So
is he going to England, or is he sailing towards the east?
honestly, I think that he likely started with Santander, went with Madrid, and then went Cadiz, Granada, Alicante. As well with how they were positioned, I would be willing to guess that that this rumor token is at Granada. And one way or another, due to how many moves there were, it's almost always at Granada, unless it's at Madrid. So it's either at the rumor token is almost
Oh,
the rumor token is in fact always, due to the no hides, at either Madrid or Granada. I would search with this. Okay, so he left from
yeah.
Cadiz.
And I just saw Godalming throw away holy bullets in a stake.
Well, he does mature to vampire, so you won't need a stake for a little bit at least.
Yeah.
Uh, Plus, well, as for holy bullets, different people have different feelings about that. I know that Pizza Wizard is quite an advocate for them, but I it really just depends on what you've got. A reckless, huh? And yet he still ruined token the thing before or that. Hmm, interesting. Lucky find. I'm okay. Yeah, he could find anything here. Okay, what all got discarded? A stake, 2 garlic reeds, and a pistol. So that means that someone else is holding a pistol because there were only two. With Goldamu's discard, there were only 2 stakes in the discard. So one of the other hunters has one, or one of the hunters has one already.
I'm not sure I agree with this ambush.
Well, it's a reckless and it's after a rumor token, so you don't care as much if it dies. So I'm sure the rumor token is like never gonna mature, but again, it's a reckless, and in this case, this 1 point will actually make a difference.
Okay.
So since you're at that break point between 3 and 4, that now makes it as if it had been a reckless that had matured instead. So yeah, you've by doing that you've cut off 1 day's time of the fury actions
Yeah.
that you need, and of course Vampire Lair can change that, but well, you'll burn that bridge if it comes.
And now it makes me wonder what he has on the rumor space.
I'd expect another reckless personally. I don't think he would.
Yeah.
I don't think he would rumor an aristocratic and then put a reckless after it. I mean, although arguably,
Well, this is good pressure. I mean, honestly, I don't think Randiv should have matured that other vampire from earlier. But
it's a new vampire.
Okay.
Okay, close enough. And well, yeah, I get it because reckless is, you have doubtless seen me several times just build a like just a gauntlet of vampires. So I actually like that's actually one of my stratagems. Just lay down, uh, just lay down crap until I have it until I have like all the fighter vamps, and then lay down one after another. I just make an endless wave of them so that until, especially if they're discarding their stakes early, because I lay down aristocratics, hoaxes, and then they just don't find one, so they want weapons instead.
If you let the new vampire mature, you do not have to deal with the renewed vigor. I'm a helper.
Reckless vampire, he means.
Yeah. Oh yeah, regular. Yeah, sorry. Yeah, reckless vampire. My bad.
In this case, I would not let that mature. I would try to clear these up.
Yeah.
It would depend on how many stakes I already have. I know that we know that one of the hunters is carrying a stake. We know that for certain.
Yeah.
Because of the way Lucky Find only the 4 of the cards that were left in the draw pile, only one of them was a stake. Or if they were both stakes, Van Helsing kept the stake. So someone has one. I think Van Helsing does, because I think he's an escape like that for one thing. He might have wanted to try to fight it out instead. Daytime ambush and all. Well, this one is in a position where I'll want to kill it that way and save the stake for the rumor. Unless I'm just Unless we're just frozen again for some reason.
Well, he could just be deep into the tank right now, the think tank.
Yeah.
So, sometimes you have to just take stock of what you're looking at. Yeah, he had that stake.
Yeah. He, yeah, he's on a big city. So he can resupply up, and he has several days till that's threatening to mature. So I
Yeah,
agree. That's probably
and
better thing to do. You can
and
you can try to find a new one.
since you can gang up on a new vampire, it's a little
That
bit
too.
easier to take down with a group of prepared hunters for sure.
That too. But the one question Mr. Green will have to ask himself is, does he want to send anyone more?
Hmm.
Anyone else? Uh,
Yeah.
because I mean that would be revealing weapons, giving it Drac information, and also leaving one path or the other at least a little bit clearer.
Did anyone happen to notice whether or not the discard or the item deck cycled?
It did. That's how we knew there was a stake
Ah,
somewhere.
all right.
There were only four things left, and only one of the discard originally, or two. So there were two guaranteed left, and since only one got discarded, it after the lucky find reshuffled. Uh, that's how I knew for certain that there was one somewhere. It may be that's the only stake they have, which is quite possibly why he was hesitating so long.
Yeah, do I or don't I? Hmm.
Yeah.
But then that telegraphs to Randiv that he doesn't need to ambush with that vampire.
Yes, but I expect Van Helsing will supply a day or two who first before moving on to it.
Yeah.
And one thing that he'll probably want to supply just tomorrow, uh, at latest, unless he sends Goldaming as well. Because here's the thing, we don't know if that's at Granada or not. Well, actually, for him to end up at Cadiz with 5 moves after Saragossa, no Lisbon. He checked that before it was wiped, so yeah, I suppose we do know that it has to be Granada. For there to be that many, it had to be Santander, Madrid, Alicante, Granada. So I suppose we do know. Yeah,
Yeah.
it, it is a question as to how long, as to whether or not you send someone else. The fact that he hasn't had Goldon train or horse down to Madrid seems to indicate that he's not going to.
I think Mr. Green's thought processes are to split the hunting party to speculate where he's gonna sail to. I like where the hunters are positioned because
Yeah,
now that there have been two
Eel
sea
presence.
movements, there now yeah he can either only be in the Mediterranean or the North Atlantic,
Yeah.
and if he can figure out which one of the two he's at, then the hunters that are positioned properly can go after him.
Okay. Van Helsing. Apparently, Mr. Green didn't catch on that that would have been wiped if he had for it to be possible for there to be 5 without Hyde.
Unless he's trying to position Van Helsing closer to
Unless,
Lord Godalming and in hopes of setting up like an equipment trade.
yeah, that's what I was just thinking. It. That's what I was just about to say myself.
I mean,
If you're
why?
Drac, which one do you go to?
If I well in this scenario, I would try to throw down another sea movement to make the hunters really start guessing how far away from them I've gone. and maybe try landing from the North Sea.
Yeah, that's probably what I would do as well. Especially since the most likely person to help Van Helsing is. Oh. Uh oh.
Oh, I mean, it throws away his stake. Okay.
Well, that indicates that's. That indicates that Gul'dam has one. And it is going to go down and trade. Uh. Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and as I was saying, Gul'dam is the one best positioned to help with this new vampire. So therefore, it makes sense to just to go North Atlantic. Even if you English Channel and Wolfform into England, that's not bad.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have to be constantly worried about CG if you go to Manchester, but.
Well, I mean, yeah, sure. I think the proper thing maybe in a perfect world, if Randiv went to the North Sea, and then Wolf forms over Hamburg into the Germanies somewhere, then he can start to work his way back through Austria-Hungary and go to the east.
Yeah.
Like you wolf form off through 27 to 30, and then you've got, I mean, you've got some options there, or go to going to 7 might not be the best idea.
Yeah, 7 is just as vulnerable as Marseille.
Yeah.
I mean, not Marseille, Manchester.
or I mean,
basically, it's one of the nuke spots.
I have yet to catch a player in a nuke spot, actually. I can remember, and this was like a long time ago. I remember playing against a guy, and the game was literally a 50-50 chance of either he wins or I win. And he consecrated grounded me in Ireland back into the sea, and I had no other choice but to land in England. And when Godalming landed, it was either 43 or 33, and he picked the wrong one. So, yeah, it's interesting how close some of these games can get sometimes, right?
Yeah, the game we just had, it was close.
Yep, for sure.
Definitely a good match.
All right. Okay, so we know he went to the South Atlantic for sure. That's a for certain.
Yeah,
and then he just wolf formed from the Mediterranean. Yeah.
Yeah, I would definitely guess Mediterranean right now, but
either he's faking Cagliari, or he landed in Ireland,
or he just went to Milan, knowing they don't know for sure. So
yeah,
but definitely a very nice. Okay, so not Ireland.
Not Ireland.
Okay, so he's somewhere on the mainland or at CAG.
Yeah, and that will become obvious in a few turns.
What I would do is I would have Seward and Mina go to Genoa and scan.
Oh, another hired scouts.
Neither Zurich or Milan. Okay. That's some of the. I'm at this point. I'm convinced that this is a CAG, or I suppose I could see Genoa. You're still on the sea, and you can go right back out if you need to. If they catch on too soon. I mean, I think simply by psychic bond, if you do psychic bond, all that. Oh, she's heading down to Van Helsing.
must have the tools they need to deal with that vampire.
Well, if nothing else, they can do a 2v1 night fight tomorrow.
Yeah.
If nothing else.
Now that's an awfully shrewd play. Now that Seward doesn't have his wax cylinders anymore.
That's true.
The Cagliari bluff might actually hold longer than
Normally.
ooh, this is a quick finish.
3 Dracula events. And ones in question are Wild Horses, Summon Swords, and Cessationalist Press. Only one of those that's all that remarkable is Summon Storms.
Yeah. Nothing but the best for the discard pile, I guess.
Oh, I suppose that's another reason why they might do that.
Yeah, lots of process of elimination there. I mean, now he knows it's not Barcelona.
Yes. But the thing is, he did remove Toulouse as a lair.
Yeah,
He matured that. We talked of him making it a lair, but he could be there, just sitting right next to them.
Yeah, and that's awfully. You have to have some serious ice water in your veins to do that, because if they catch.
But it's the last place they're gonna check by scouts, and you would think that they would scan Italy first, right?
Yeah.
So then
something I'd like to say is the deciding factor between whether an idea is brilliant or sheer madness is the degree of success. If he did that and he pulls it off, bravo.
Yeah, although going back to Spain is not the best idea when possibly both the seas bordering it are on the trail. I mean, we don't know whether he went north or Atlantic or not.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not a big fan of going back to 54 either, only because all it takes is somebody to just casually use fast horses and then just stop there by accident and then go, oh, okay. And then your whole plan is ruined.
Yeah, like this.
Yeah.
Except that he didn't go to Toulouse, but Clonfriend rules out. Okay, so only Geneva remains for places he could have. Only Geneva and Toulouse remain for Mediterranean, apart from CAG. North Sea, I mean, there is still Paris and Le Havre.
Yeah.
North Atlantic, not North Sea, sorry.
Yeah, well, Seward's move is actually a pretty shrewd one too, because he's hedging his bet as to whether or not Cagliari is where he actually landed, and then if that's a hide on 13, then eventually the trail is going to indicate that. Oh my goodness, where are you going?
Leaving it up. Mina has the stake. Oh, and she has a vampire lair. Huh? That must. And that okay. So what? What's with all the stake discarding? You're gonna have to cycle through the entire item to actually use that. I mean, yeah.
I think this is a gamble. I think she's hoping to just escape and then just stake the vampire.
Yeah, but now with 3 stakes already in the discard, they're gonna have to go through the entire item deck to get one back, unless she simply fights this out successfully. Claws. Yep.
Yeah, I'll bet you the vampire's hand just failed. That
typical old vampire ambush.
Yeah, you don't get the right combat cards you need to deal with a hunter trying to flee from you, and then they get away with just a little bit of a scratch.
Yep. I will say that if they go supplying again, an evil presence is no longer, or local rumors are no longer in use.
Yeah.
Oh,
Ooh, night supplies.
night supplying. I don't. Oh, right, right. Mystic
Oh yeah,
research.
the Mystic Research. Yeah, right.
Right.
Um,
He had
no,
3. So
I actually had a little happy dance moment behind um my side of the screen when I was playing against Randiv when he was hunting me. He gambled on a night supply, and he gave me a Dracula card, and it happened to be Dracula's brides. And I was just happy for the rest of the
eel
game after that.
presence. Uh, actually, that tells us enough. If he had gone to Geneva, unless it's Geneva Zurich, it is not North Atlantic. We now can say that for certain because he couldn't have, with this low movement, he couldn't have wolf formed to, unless there is still the madness of Toulouse and now he's in Barcelona from Mediterranean. Well, so actually, North Atlantic is eliminated as the sea in question.
Yeah.
So that much is cleared because there's no way he could have, without going to Ireland, unless, there is actually one
What?
more thing we haven't considered. Wolf formed Santander from North Atlantic.
I will admit that that's another kind of brass ball kind of play to make because all the hunters that can deal death to you are just a little bit south of you, right?
Yeah, and yeah, it's
Do
not exactly
do you?
and hence it's not the sort of thing you would expect.
But then, your travel plan has to be get to Alicante because then you don't have any other route to escape by sea. He fed. I think it's Cag. I really do think it's Cagliari.
I agree, but I'm merely saying that we don't know for sure.
No, we don't. But call it a hunch that when a person lands on Cagliari, their route makes like very little sense. And I just have I have a feeling because Randiv did this exact same thing when I played him, and I've just I have to go and look, right? And that it cost him that game, but I think he's in a pretty good position now because even if Seward does go to sea,
There could
he
be an
can
excellent
just
weather. There is none of that used.
yeah. Well, I mean, excellent weather would be even more advantageous for Dracula in this case because if Seward did use excellent weather and landed on Cagliari, if he doesn't have a forewarned and there's a fog backing him up, he'll get trapped there for a while.
Yes, but at this point he'll have used all of his stay in place things except for Dark Call. So
Yeah. But he doesn't really need to stay in place anymore. He can just if the hunters come looking on Cagliari, he can just go to Athens.
yeah, but nonetheless, yeah. Now that Genino's been checked, with the exception of the ridiculous idea of Santander, we've now cleared up all other possibilities. And Toulouse into Barcelona as well, I suppose. We haven't cleared that one up quite yet.
I thought that Mina and Van Helsing did a psychic scan casually while waiting to deal with that vampire. I could have sworn they did that.
The problem is that was the day of the wolf form.
Yes, I suppose you're right.
Yeah. And the wolf form wouldn't have been in Spain. But Yeah. I might
I mean,
send Mia into Barcelona. I mean, two reasons. One, she's down an item, so getting her to a large city. I and two, well, in the event that you need additional help on CAG, she's there. So it serves two purposes.
yeah, and you're beginning to see what I mean when I say Randiv is sort of like, and maybe he intended it for it this way, but like he is a meticulous route planner, right? Like he's got us even speculating against ourselves whether or not we think he is where he is.
I might
It'll
even
be
dark
interesting to
haul
see
if
what
I
his
were
next.
his. If I were him, if he were in Spain, I might actually do that to keep them guessing a bit longer, make them have to go out to sea in time to get there, in time to account for a high card.
Yeah, he did that exact thing.
Yeah, the dark call makes me think that that Santander or Toulouse is what's going on. Because Seward, I mean, Goldaming. I think Goldaming should just check Toulouse, get it over with. But then there's still Santander. Well, it can't be Santander because of the scan. That one is ruled out.
Yeah.
But the Toulouse theory is still alive, so to speak. Yeah, this is ridiculous. I mean, it's definitely. I mean, we know that it's either that or CAG. So he's thinking of playing some sort of down card.
He might be holding on to a renewed vigor.
I would not be surprised. He's already gone through 40 cards. So chances of finding one of them are above 50% at this point.
Let's see if he's left a welcoming party at 54 for him. Where are you going, Godalming? Where are you going?
I think that Toulouse may simply not have occurred to him yet. And why is Stewart doing that?
And I can understand the stress of it. Maybe he thought he went further. Oh, Mr. Green is dartboarding now. He has no idea where he is.
It won't be in France.
Unless what he's trying to do is set up a sort of like a Mina is going to go to Marseille and she's going to psychic scan tonight just to clear up France. And then the next day she's going to go to where Godalming is and scan to see if he's in Italia.
Well, the thing is, if she had checked Toulouse or gone to Barcelona, and I get moving to Van Helsing too, because now they can trade, and Van Helsing can be the one to sit around and supply, while since Mia has a horse, just take something off of Van Helsing.
Mm-hmm.
So I get it. I get that part.
Yeah, Randiv, if you're going to be watching this back, you got us all confused.
Indeed. This is definitely hard to say for certain.
Not to mention the fact he's sitting on a nice healthy pool of like health here, like 12 hit points. That's not nothing for Dracula.
Yes, the downside is that he has 10 encounter cards. And he'll have...
Yeah.
At this point, he'll have drawn one fog and possibly played it on CAG. As for the other, unless it's that bottom card, that's good.
Yeah, and I'm just checking his discarded encounter cards. There was a fog among the discarded ones.
Right, that was not right.
Yeah, so if and this is a big if he can somehow cycle the last encounter card out, he can shuffle back and get that other fog back into the pool, so to speak. He might be holding on to his other fog card right now. And it wouldn't shock me if when he wolf formed, man, maybe I'll keep that thought to myself. Because at this point, I'm kind of thinking, if I'm the Dracula player, I want to get some desecrated soil on the path somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, he went back to sea. It had to have been Cagliari.
The funny thing, well, no, because South Atlantic just slid off. I mean, but then again, Santander was ruled out, so, and London was at Bordeaux long enough where he couldn't have gone there. So yeah, there we go. So you finally know for sure, albeit barely. He'll need an excellent weather to stop that if that's a fog. Either that or a forewarned, of course.
Yeah.
But it has no rumor. But then again, may well be a hoax, and you know that there's some of the storms among the stuff, so there's something at least halfway decent. Some sources is considered to be one of the top tier things. It has its moments for sure, but I would start getting to work on what's going on at CAG, since someone.
Yeah, I think he's taking a moment to just sort of speculate on the logistics of this trip. Who's going? Who's got the best equipment for it?
And here's another crazy thing. Med is falling off the trail.
Yeah.
He can go either direction.
Yeah, it looks like Godalming is on the case.
Yeah. As one would expect. You know, actually, sorry to bring this up again, but the Toulouse theory is not dead because he could have wolfed from there from North Atlantic, not Med. It's not entirely impossible that he's in Mediterranean Sea right now. And they're on something of a wild goose chase. Not highly unlikely, but not impossible.
Oh, he's got him scrambling.
Yeah, sort of positioning himself to be ready to go to the east. I like that. I mean, Dracula bought a lot of time with that. I mean, now he's gonna semi-lose some time after. The problem is there's practically no trail. Yeah. And sure, there's whatever that there is right here, but once they've dealt with that, they can zone in on him. Yeah, so in theory, if he did do that crazy Toulouse thing, he could now land at CAG and have Gul'dam jump on him. Whoops! And have him be in for a very surprising combat. Personally, though, I wouldn't do that. I would move one more sea space, then Wolfform land again.
Yeah, there's no need to be like risking needless fights at this point. I mean, keep yourself as plump and as healthy as you can. Wait until you get the Fury of Dracula ability going with your third Despair token, and then just run the clock out.
Yeah,
especially now.
In theory, here's he could actually land back at CAG after going to Med, but that one, because and then just repeat this whole sequence. it's actually possible to do. Like, he could layer whatever this is, and then be right back there. Wouldn't that be ridiculous?
That'd be crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. Go on one more C. Regardless which direction that is, I do agree that you should move another C space.
Yeah, so what do you think Mr. Green's idea is? Mina goes one way, Godalming goes the other, and Van Helsing, what? Excellent weathers down to Cagliari?
I think more likely than not, Godalming's gonna land at Cag. And if anyone's okay, it seems that you seem to have his idea. But I think quite possibly Mia will actually go there. I mean, okay, let's see what got discarded there. A blood transfusion? No real surprise there.
Yeah. The cards that were printed for amateurs.
I imagine that, personally, I imagine that this is going to be a hoax with a fog.
Oh, wouldn't that be delicious?
It would be. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 Dracovans in there.
Yeah.
Three of which we know are not exactly ideal. You would probably want the Sunstorms before now. Although then again, you could just trap whoever's on CAG for a while.
I mean,
so
it's possible. What if... Okay, this is the dream Dracula play. He resolves a hoax. And Emmanuel Hildenheim is in the discard pile.
Yeah, Emmanuel Hildenheim.
And then what happens is that he... when resolving the hoax, you shuffle the cards back in. Or at least, I think you do. You shuffle them in first.
Yeah.
Then you resolve Hildenheim.
Yep, which could mean... which could mean up to 6 things. 6 things.
Yeah.
Yeah, Emmanuel Hildenheim is definitely the dream one to get. But there are plenty of other good ones. Unearthly Swiftness, this and that. Dracula's Brides wouldn't be the worst thing.
No.
Okay.
I don't know what are you doing, buddy? What are you doing?
he doesn't have the second forewarned, and he expects it to be some sort of delay effect, so therefore he won't be able to get it anyway.
Oh.
So he's just letting it go.
But again, he invested all that time to come up empty-handed.
While Dracula's been at sea, he's been getting plenty of events. So I disagree that. So I think that while I think and Mr. Green still has a reasonable chance.
This could prove disastrous. All that needs to happen is a Darkness Returns. You know what I mean? Like, if that is a hoax, he'd better hope against all hope that that's not a hoax. Because...
Well, if since this is indeed CAG, that'll be a hide card. So that second thing doesn't matter at all.
Yeah, okay. I mean, for sure. Whatever he hit under doesn't matter. All right, show us what it was. If this was a vampire.
Oh, layering it. Oh, is he really doing Tyrrhenian Mediterranean and trying to repeat the cycle? Because that'd be 3 encounters that he'd be under after he lands there and places something.
Yeesh.
That'd be quite ridiculous, but is it worth the chance? And unless they have an excellent weather, you're guaranteed to be able to put the hide put the hide down unless they find a scouts or something.
You know, I think I might have to watch this game back a second time to figure out exactly what was going on here. Because this is just like, I don't understand what's going on.
Okay, wolf forming ashore, yeah. But it's not Keg.
Well, yeah.
That madness is now over. Yeah, the hunters are definitely running out of time. But at the same time, pardon the pun, the hunters, I mean, all that time out of Kag only to lair it. I really am disappointed with that.
Yeah, I wanted to see something big happen too.
Still at 8 health, so it's not the worst. But the hunters have a lot of events.
All right, in the
all,
cuckoo,
all of them are holding at least 2.
So what do you think Randiv did there? Do you think he went Mediterranean, Tahirian Sea, and then wolf formed into Bari? Then he can kill some time in 40 and 45. And
with it being
then...
from Cagliari first, there are a lot of different things that are possible here. If I mean, all we know is that the first sea is Tyrrhenian. Because the med had not yet slid off for the first sea move.
Mm-hmm.
So it actually can't be Italy. Unless the wolf went to Genoa, that is. But
so what if he went Tyrrhenian, Ionian, and then
Sophia, a typical Sophia thing? Well, it has proven to be not the case.
Valona or Athens?
Yes.
You wolf form and you do a short stop, and then you know they think you're running farther than you really are.
Well,
because what's going to happen now is that trail is going to move again, and if that card beside the feed is indeed the hide card, which we believe it is, he's just going to slap it back down on the trail again and cover himself up in Athens. Or
you don't just believe, we know. Every other possibility was checked. So it's a shame he didn't have a speed telegraph to couple with this.
Yeah.
There was one evil presence earlier. What he's really hoping for is the local rumors, I think. Yeah, not the worst idea. Oh, hypnosis. Ah.
Oh.
Well, the game's up, Randiv. So he'll be at Madrid then, more likely than not.
Yeah, but that's actually not a bad thing for him right now.
I mean, it's
I'm
bad
looking
that
at it.
they've uncovered it like that.
Godalming is all the way on the other side of the map now. He's out of the equation. Seward,
not completely, but yeah.
Like,
yeah, he's expecting some combat soon, so. Oh.
Yeah. Madrid.
Okay, so using one to just flip it up, make it so that he can't hide.
Yeah, I know how that feels.
Yep. Yeah, that was much the same sort of thing I did to you, wasn't it?
Yeah, no, you did that exact same thing to me, and I'm still bitter about it.
Yeah, it's probably going to turn in be very nice. So here's a question: with there being 15 Drac events in the discard, do you night spy at all? I think not yet.
Oh,
You're
no.
you're close. You're close to.
Did they use up all of their mystic researches?
Come to think of it,
I think
I
I
don't
saw
know.
them.
We
I think
we
I
know
saw
we've seen
them.
at least once. That's for sure. Got
I
a
think
bit.
I've
We
seen.
got a bit emotional for a moment.
I think I've seen 2 so far. That, to my
Oh,
recollection.
CG
Oh,
blockading all the harbors for this turn. Yeah, since Cadiz was the lair, so you don't want that's where you don't want him to get to go at all. So now he can funnel him either back to a med port, which will take some time to. Yeah, you can funnel him very specifically. I would put it at Granada, steer him directly towards you, or at a med port. Oh, simply make it. Well, would he lay down the hide card? I don't think so. You flipped him up, so. Well, oh, as a deduction wax cylinders. I see. Since that does reveal that's a reckless view laid down.
yeah. So.
Yeah, good CG.
But now Randiv doesn't have to worry about getting nuked.
By going to Granada, yeah, which is why I think that he might have wanted to put the second one there. I mean, would he have hidden? I don't think so.
As it stands right now, he's got something on Granada. Maybe the move he makes now is he just goes to Alicante and, well, here's a question. My memory's a bit fuzzy on this. If he moves to a lair, even though it's revealed, does he still get to put down an event?
He does, yeah.
Oh, so yeah, I mean, that might not be the worst thing in the world.
Yeah, he'll have 2 things there, but more likely than not, it was just some trash you chucked in there. And we haven't had any desecrated soil filters. We had 1 Vampinture for 3, but what about all the rest of the trash? You know, where is everything? Yeah. I mean, he did Dark Call, so there was that, but apart from filtering them through layers, how else has he gotten the chance to? In fact, all that much chance. In fact, he hasn't cycled any layers. What's there? These are his original layers.
Yeah, Granada, Cadiz, and whatever Cagliari, I suppose.
Yeah,
I mean, if we're going with our theory,
it's no longer a theory at this point.
No, I'm morbidly curious what's actually sitting on 13 right now. Like why he chose to lair it.
At a guess, At a guess, he was rather crowded in it. He was rather crowded in Spain. It could be that he was like out of good cards, and he was just filtering them.
He cleared Granada. So maybe he moves.
I partially agree with that. After all, there are only so many places, but at the same time, you're sacrificing the ability to be on 2 encounters. Make it as if you had hidden there.
I don't know what the plan is from this point forward. If he moves to Granada, then that limits his choices to either go to Alicante.
Yeah,
he can't go to.
I would go to Saragossa. In fact, due to it being a Wolfhorn to Madrid, he can't misdirect it. Therefore, I would probably go to Saragossa either way. I just wouldn't have gone to the lair. So in this case, so in retrospect, I do agree that this is quite possibly the right thing to do. Yeah, second renewed vigor. Figured that was coming. So now all three of them are going to be able to pile on top of him. And unless he has a fog, yeah, double RV plus CG never hurts. Well,
Yeah. Well,
and the really
here's to
sad
hoping.
thing, and here's the real sad thing for Randiv. One more day, and he would have at least gotten more IDS for less than MG's IDS. As he would have gone to week 4 successfully. All right. Yep.
Is he going to get greedy now? Is he going to wait to see if the other hunters will jump in and just dogpile him, and then spring the fog at the last minute?
I would have ambushed Seward personally.
Oh, there's the fog.
Okay. Well, they didn't have it. I typically tend to ambush Seward when it comes to forewarned guessing game. Because with Van Helsing and Van Helsing being able to trade to Mina and such,
Yep. Be right back.
Yeah.
All right, I've returned.
Good.
Now just the quality of that microphone.
Let's.
Yeah, blah.
I might actually feed, because if you, I know, that was your that's the only fog. The hunters now know you're out of fog, so what can you lay down that will defend you from 3 hunters? I mean, with both renewed vigorous plays, fortunately, Goldaming is out of the picture for today. But I think that this may seem desperate, but I think the correct move is to move on to Mina.
Drop on Namina, rough her up in single combat. That's your thought?
I mean, no, but it gets you to yes, but it gets you to a port, and if you're lucky enough, like if for instance, if you have a mob or something to lay down, that would be pretty good. Playing that just for funsies, I imagine.
Yeah.
Does she have a vampire lair to play last minute? Does she have, or rather, does she have the stake to play the vampire lair last minute? And if so, will he be satisfied with just the one? Yeah, now we're seeing the side effects of that dark hole. He even after his next move, he still won't be drawing that last encounter.
Yeah.
Okay, reckless vampire ambushes. I imagine that Mr. Green will likely want to fight this out, so that others don't get ambushed. He's trying to squeeze 1 or 2 more points out of this. So
6 bites gets me to 10.
I mean, it's never unless I mean, the Hunters have supply enough where I wouldn't be surprised if they have great strength, but I mean, especially with Van Helsing being one of the hunters in question, 100 death is never out of the question.
Yeah.
If somehow he manages to get 4 Fang hits, 100 death means victory. If he somehow manages to get 4 Fang points, 100 death means victory for him. So they do have to be a bit careful about that.
Yeah. Well, it's a nail biter. This is a real nail biter.
Yeah, it's definitely very bad for Dracula, but it's not quite over yet.
No, it isn't.
You know what would be worse?
Okay, just watch Seward play a knife.
Play a rifle.
Oh.
I mean, there was only 2 holy bullets at a time and still is only 2 holy bullets in the discard. He may well have that.
Yeah.
That and 2 rifles.
That out, damn it. Oh. We also have to take into consideration there's Heavenly Hosts.
Knife. Oh, yeah. And
Yeah,
Seward showed 1, yeah?
Yeah. This knife doesn't sting as much, though.
Yeah, since he's successfully mezzed.
Now might be a good time for Fangs.
Yeah. Which, in point of fact, now that I think of it, unless it's a Fang on Mina, if all 3... well, I know that Gul'daming has... I believe Gul'daming was one of the ones to show, so there will be only 2 Heavenly Hosts in the battle. But...
Yeah, because Van Helsing played the Consecrated Ground, did he not?
Yeah. Okay, dodged it. Well done by MG. I mean, there still could be a Holy Bullets. He's only shown us 2 weapons.
Yeah, the best play the Vampire can make right now is Strength.
Yeah.
If he's got his other Strength card, he needs to play it now. Yep, there we go.
A Mesmerize would be nearly just as good. But...
yeah, but now you're going into a night fight with Dracula, right?
Mm-hmm.
Seward is easily... You could claw Seward to death.
Yeah.
And that would be
really
bad.
And that'll shoot up 5 influence. I mean, unless I imagine Seward will just dodge now, because now since he's mesmerized, there's nothing unless he tries to dump a Heavenly Host. Last ditch attempt. I imagine that the Vampire will Fang. That's what I would do.
If he has it, why not? Because even if it's the last card of the combat, and a bite on Steward would be pretty bad.
A bite would be nowhere near as bad as the... yeah, simply dodged. But as I was saying, a bite would be nowhere near as bad as a death. 1 victory point versus 5. Or influence point.
Well, in this case, wouldn't it have been 2? Because if Seward played the Heavenly Host, you'd get a bite, and then the Reckless Vampire would get 1 for resolving Fangs.
Yeah.
So that'd be 2 points.
Yeah. And on top of that, you go down to 1 for the fights, so that even great strength wouldn't save him from a claws. Yeah. So you can probably expect him to do a... We can probably expect him to do a rifle first, to make sure that he sticks around at least 1 round. has. Okay. Yep.
Yeah.
It is noteworthy that he didn't get any Fang points off of Seward, but
I'll be right back. Again.
okay, plotting the knife, plotting into a knife. Vampire's dead. So that means that Mia won't have to fret about it. But Van Helsing has a knife. I suppose Drax's best hope now is a slow horse roll. Unfortunately,
All right. I have returned.
yeah, he didn't get to ambush Mina. So really I think the best Drax can do here is just start by first Fang Mina, or it's hard to say. I think I'm pretty. If the hunters have great strength, then Seward will likely just us Heavenly Host from the beginning, either that or knife. I would just play weapons. Don't bother with Heavenly Hosts in the hunter's position. Don't bother risking any of that stuff. As Drac, well, I mean, this is like obviously gonna be GG, but really the only thing in question now is will he be able to claim 5 more influence points first? I suppose the way I would start is I would strength Helsing, I think.
Yeah. Somebody in there has a rifle or a pistol.
I know that's. I. Well, not a pistol. There are all 4 in the discard. And we know that Seward has one. Yeah, I imagine that Seward will be the rifle. Which is why you don't claw him first.
Well, it's at the mercy of whatever Dracula drew for his combat hand, so we'll see how this all plays out.
Honestly, I'm expecting a triple knife. Well, not triple knife, 2 knives and a rifle. Personally, because keep in mind we don't know if Van Helsing may yet have Seward may yet have holy bullets. Yep, GG. GG will play both. Yep, and
there it is. There are the bullets.
He's always really happy to see that when he watches this. Well,
it's a 2-card combo, but I mean, you get all these firearms and the holy bullets together, and they do 5 damage as opposed to a heavenly host, which can only do 4.
Yeah, good effort, to be sure. And thank you for joining me for this Skybreaker. That was a good game. Randiv definitely had us scratching our heads as to stuff. So, I mean, if you watch Randiv, there's that as a consolation prize. It, and he survived to Elite 4, which is also important. The fog bought him 2 more IDS, or made him be able to steal 2 IDS that way. So, yeah. Yeah, Hypnosis, I think, was the big turning point. Uh, Without that, or Money Trail, because they didn't play that, probably simply because they didn't need it. Although if they had it, they probably would have done it for the sake of knowing which one sooner. Unless that is it was Goldaming who was carrying it while he was at sea. Yeah. Well, again, thank you for joining me, and thank you everyone for watching, and have a good rest of your day. Hey,